Greetings, everyone. Here's another delightful video from me to you via the YouTube video sharing platform. And this is the last, not the last, beginner game box set for Star Wars role-playing games from Edge Studios / Fantasy Flight Games. There's actually a fourth one, but it's rather rare as it is the beginner game for the Force Awakens version of this role-playing game line. However, that one is literally only the beginner game. There is no core rulebook as far as I know. There is no other product specifically for the Force Awakens version of Star Wars role-playing. So it's this weird case of where you have the general group of Star Wars role-playing game, and then there's three major variants: Age of Rebellion, Edge of Empire, and Force and Destiny. And then there's this fourth one that there's no products for except for the beginner game. And as I said, there's also a general group where there's material for all four of them. But this is the last one of the four, unless I want to go on eBay and spend $80 or $100 just to order a beginner game just for a version of this role-playing game that is not really supported at all. Sure. I am not super poor, but of course I'm also not super rich. I do not have sufficient funds to be shooting into the sky. I have only enough funds each month for so many fun things. And unless there's great deal demand on my YouTube channel specifically for that one, or all of a sudden my players decide, hey, we absolutely love this idea of playing Star Wars role-playing games, and we specifically want another beginner game sessions, then that's the case. I just opened up the box. It was a fresh unboxing, and as well as rambling off the madness. Please note that there is an app on the Android store as well as the Apple store that you can download for $4.99. It might be $6.99 on the Apple store, because Apple has that 50% markup charge for everything, where they force everyone to just charge more for everything. If you have Apple products, confirm whether it is $4.99 or $6.99 US dollars. What comes in this box? Game contents: 1 adventure book, 1 rule book, 1 introduction sheet, 1 map, 4 character folios, 14 custom dice, 8 destiny tokens, and 55 character tokens. Thank you for watching that little section. Continue on by pressing the like button in the corner of the description. So, these are the custom dice, and everyone who has watched numerous of my videos knows I do not like custom dice. The problem with custom dice is that A, it results in having to teach people what the symbols mean, and then having to constantly convert mentally the rules for, okay, yeah, you need a star, you need this explosion symbol. You see there's this explosion symbol right here, and you need this circle, circle symbol with many segments, the empire symbol for your games, and you need also here's a die that has 2 dots. Okay? And it's harder for this because each one of these dies have a different set of symbols and a different number of them. You see, you got 2 of these little chevrons, like from Star Trek, And then you have the D6 that only has like 1 on one side. You have a blank side. So, whenever possible, game designers, do not make systems that require custom dice. I actually was talking with my boss about TTRPG products, and he was rather interested in it. But him being a capitalist, he immediately says, "Oh, could we do custom dice for the project? And could we do this?" And I'm like, no. That ruins like sales and shit like that. That holds things down. Unless you have something like an IP like Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that, that artificially boosts up that kind of thing, you are going to struggle to sell product. And he's like, "Oh, what do I sell? You sell books, and you might sell character tokens and stuff like that." So here you go. This is the beginning of the pile. You happen to have read this first right up here. That's really nice. It gives you a quick overview of this system. Please note that each one of these 4 systems, which the 4 subsystems of Star Wars role-playing, has their own special theme mechanic for them. And Force and Destiny is obviously based around Jedi and Sith. You have this nice little sheet here. It opens up and it has a nice little replay. And I really do like having replays in a beginner box or a beginner game or a starter set or a starter kit or whatever you want to call it. Then you have this nice little book here. That's the adventure book that has read this second down here. That's really nice. It is a saddle staple book. All the books in this pile are saddle staple with the exception of the rule book, which is actually glue bound. On the back of this, there is a nice little handy dandy key for all the symbols and what they mean, as well as the types of dice. This is extremely important if you are going to do, for whatever insane reason, a TTRPG that has custom dice. You gotta make sure you put a key on as many books as possible for it. So, like for example here, I've already done 3 of these unboxings already. Please note that this is basically, as I said before, this is basically all floating around Jedi and Sith, Force and Destiny. So basically all classes based around that. You have these really nice character folios. It has artwork of the character in the front, has the story of the character on the back. It opens up to multiple pages, and each one of these pages has a key on it. As I said before, this is a must for any custom dice system. You have to have a key. You have the standard character sheet with all the allocations. It's basically a dice pool system. And then it progresses as your character becomes more powerful. And then they have a custom one right here where you can actually rewrite some of the information in here to update it for the progress of your character. This character happens to be Tarset, and he is a Sentinel, which is a Jedi rank position. And we have a Guardian in Serenada. The same thing for her. And we have a Seeker with Carvini or Carvani. And then we have Dao, which is a Mystic. So there you go. We got the rule book, which is the one book that is not saddle staple. Yet again, very smart decision putting the key on the back. The rule book contains all the core rules you need to play Star Wars role-playing. And it even has mention of the special mechanic specifically tied to this system in it as well. It goes over all the checks, gives you rules on combat, and everything else. How wounds work, skills work in the system, and so forth. Every page pretty much has a piece of artwork or not. I please do note that this is a white background with gray text. That is a very poor choice of color. If you're going to put something on white, you have to make it a really dark and bold color. White is highly reflective, and some people have a hard time reading off of a white background. This is why a lot of people default to on their phones and many other things with a dark mode, which makes it easier for them to read. This is a good example. You see the grayish text on the top and the white background, and then you see the black background with white text. That's a very good contrast test right there. The black background with white text sticks out way better to you than the gray text on the white background, unless you see, like right there, you got the boldened letters, which are easier to read for some people. So there you go. In this set, as you remember, there is this nice mention of a map. The map is double-sided. Typically, it will have on one side multiple locations that are of great importance, and then on the other side it will be the final location or an important base or location in the adventure that's included in it. And then we have tokens, and I personally love tokens very much. Tokens are one of the best things you can have for any TTRPG, and this is a awesome pack-in for any beginner game, box, or starter set, because it allows for the game master to have a visual aid that is very easy to set down quickly for the players to pay quick attention of where their characters are, as well as where the enemies are. Sometimes I do note that it is important to keep in mind that some players, particularly new players, but even experienced players, might become obsessive about distances if a game system has a distance mechanic in movement. They might become very obsessive with optimizing all their moves, and this is a common problem. A lot of people will complain that some combat sessions take way too long. And this is a byproduct of having a lot of character features on a character, say like in Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition or Pathfinder, or even in something like this, where they will try to figure out the best option and then they will measure out their movement exactly. This is why I tend to prefer theater of the mind, because I can kind of rough ballpark things. I can say, oh, you're kind of 30 feet away. You can easily get around onto that enemy to get on his backside so you can flank with your ally. Stuff like that, you know. It makes it a way easier. This is a exceedingly nice starter set overall. I didn't even page through everything. I have gone through 2 other of these sets and have looked much deeper into the adventures and stuff like that in those other videos, and even pointed out a few other things. You got a little GM tips section in the back here, as well as advice on extending this adventure. Then you have information on various enemies of importance here and there throughout the book, pretty much as it comes up in the book. It is a rather nice set, I do say so. The only thing, as typically you will know if you watch these videos, I will say a Game Master screen would be awesome in these sets. Even if it's the cheapo one, where it's just simply a card stock, where it's like a hard card stock where you just open it up like a little book and just set it up like that. That is a good thing to have with all the basic rules inside, because that makes it way easier for the players, for the game master to keep track of important rules as they're learning this system. That would have truly helped improve the system overall. I have found from quickly glancing over and reading the previous ones in this the other beginner games for Star Wars role-playing, that they do a very good job of explaining how the mechanics operate. It is just the hardest thing to get wrapped around is keeping in mind the dice and their symbols. I've been told that there is a free RPG day adventure that has a conversion table for symbols to numbers. And that is all nice and dandy in itself. However, conversion tables add an extra level of complexity because the rules for for these TTRPGs with the custom dice are defaulted to using the custom dice. So I've had this happen before where people will say, oh, there's a conversion table. You can just convert the symbols to numbers. The problem with that is that when you have all the rules written in the custom dice symbols, and then you have to convert from the custom dice symbols to numbers to roll your regular dice, that is an extra step of learning, and that complicates things. And the problem with the most important thing in a TTRPG is to have fun. And the rules are a framework to build the fun into the game. If you have to do a lot of converting constantly, particularly when you're new to a system, that is going to put a lot of extra strain on the game master and diminish the fun factor of the game master and the players. Some players are very understanding and forgiving. They will understand that, hey, this is a new system we haven't played before, and we're not going to be really judgmental. We're just going to try to follow the rules as best as we can and move along. And some players are not so much in that category. I personally always advise, if you're a game designer, to avoid using custom dice. But if for whatever reason you feel the need that you have to, or your boss really wants to do custom dice in a TTRPG, you have to do like the Star Wars role-playing game sets and make a point of putting in the keys for the custom dice as much as possible. This would be, as I said before, vastly improved if there was a Game Master screen included, as well as cards or a little mats for the players, like 4 little mats you can set down on the table right in the front of the players that has a key for all the custom dice on it, and the basic rules for the players, as well as the basic rules, a Game Master screen with all the rules and the key for the dice, so the Game Master can play it. That would vastly improve this system right here. As it stands, it's basically like a 4-star product. They do a really good job of explaining this kind of stuff in the past few ones, so I presume that's the case with this one. And the only thing that would bring it up is that Game Master screen or maybe player mats that have the rules on them. When I get around to it, I'll design such a thing for whatever systems I'm working on. But that is something that really awesome for players. Paizo does that with their Pathfinder 2nd Edition starter sets. This is the starter set right here for Starfinder, where they actually have little cards for the players that explain the basic rules on them and your actions and stuff like that. So anything when it comes to a beginner game, beginner box, a starter set, a starter kit, any aids that make it easier for the Game Master to run the system should be highly considered to be put in the box. And if you also have a bunch of ideas for making it easier to learn the system for players, that should also be included in the box as well. And I've given my suggestions on that. It says 3 to 5 players here. The 5th player is the Game Master. As I looked at that at one point in time on the first video, and said, like, it says 3 to 5 players. There's only 4 character sheets, and then someone says, "Oh yeah, the Game Master's a player too," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." The moment when someone says it, so I do say this is a really neat system. I don't know if I'll ever get my players around to actually playing it. I have managed to get people into Call of Cthulhu, and I've managed to get people people into Pathfinder, and I got people into this and that. Yeah. I don't know when, and I would get to the Star Wars role-playing game in my groups. But anyways, this is a pretty cool system as it is. I just wish it wasn't a custom dice system. So, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like on it and subscribe, and have a delightful, as I said before, a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month.